What if I told you that there are doctors out here quietly making six-figure incomes outside of their clinical medicine? Would you believe me, or would you be interested? Well, you should be, because there's a quiet revolution that is happening, and I'm going to tell you all about it in this video. And it's really simple and really easy, so just follow along. If you've never met me before, I'm Dr. Nix, and I help doctors like yourself increase income through alternative streams outside of clinical medicine without having to leave their jobs. Because I've been there where I've needed extra money and all I could do was just to locum. And then I locumed, and then HMRC smiled all the way to the bank, and I just got tired, and then I got bored of it. And so what I decided to do was study books, study entrepreneurship, invest in myself, and really look at the ways that I could improve not only my career, but also my finances. And after studying this for many, many years, I've cracked it. And that's why I have created a very simple system and a very simple quiz that you can actually take right now to see where you could start if that's something that you're interested in too. So the reason why I'm doing this video is because the window of opportunity that we have now is very, very tight. Doctors are some of the most educated people in society, but most of us are financially trapped, sadly. Because between 2008 and 2023, our real-term salary has dropped by 25%. And the pension age is getting further and further away, and locums are being taxed more than ever and are not even available as much as they were before. And then on top of that, the bottlenecks to get into training are getting narrower and narrower. There is a hiring freeze right now. I don't know if it's widely publicized, but there is a hiring freeze right now in the NHS. And so what are you going to do if you're just relying on one salary, on one income? And that is why I think it's really important that right now doctors get ahead of the curve and start thinking about alternative income streams, not just for the sake of money, but also for the sake of impact, because a lot of us, quite frankly, don't feel like we're making that much impact within clinical medicine. So now's the opportunity to do so. So I think it's time to stop playing the game of the employee, and just start seeing yourself as an asset and start building and investing yourself as that asset. But if you stick with me in this video, I'm going to show you the four main pathways that I believe doctors can use today in 2025 in order to increase their income and their impact without having to leave medicine. I'm going to jump straight into it so I don't take too much of your time, and I use a system called the portfolio pathway. Now, the first pathway, or the first archetype that I would say doctors can use to get into alternative income streams, is somebody who is an educator. Most doctors tend to have the skill of teaching, being an educator, or wanting to share knowledge. Now, so many doctors have done this. I don't know if you've heard of Abdaal, but if you haven't, get to know him, because he was a doctor who used education for F1s and F2s and medical students, and now turns over between £3 to £5 million a year. I mean, he has left medicine because, I mean, would you stay if you were earning £3 to £5 million per year? But anyway, he's a great example of someone who's used his skills from medicine to create something that is both valuable and impactful, but also allows him to have an alternative income stream. So if you are someone who is big on education, you like breaking things down into bite-sized chunks for people, you have a way of taking complex knowledge and making it simple, and this could be for you. This is going to link into to the next type, which is the creator. Now, the creator is very well placed right now because the digital economy is booming. It's booming, and we're still in the early phase. If you look at the data and you look at the numbers, the online economy is predicted to be 1.4 trillion by 2037. It's already exceeded expectations for what was predicted for 2025. It's predicted to be 500 billion by the end of this year. And that's not to talk of the online education space. I don't know if you noticed, but Harvard, Cambridge, MIT, they're all putting their courses online. And you've got to think about, why is that? And it is because the education space is being democratized, and so everyone has access to being able to be a creator or an educator online. So if you're an educator or you're a creator, then this is your time to be online, because the opportunities are just immense. But to make it simple for you, the educator is someone who likes teaching, and you can do online courses, you can do live courses if you like, you can do live facilitation, you can do hybrid courses, you can do a lot with education. With creation, and if you're a creator, then your strength lies in being able to communicate in ways that someone who's not creative might not be able to. And that's where your creative edge comes in. That's where your strengths and your individual creativity will help you stand out. The third is the consultant. Now, the consultant is someone who's very clever with their time because they leverage on the skills that they have, they leverage on their expertise, and they leverage on their knowledge to be able to consult. Essentially, where you are solving high value problems, either for business, for media, for health, for tech. Essentially, you are providing a solution to a problem, whether that's a knowledge solution, whether that's experience solution, or whether that's implementation solution. So for example, I consult for the BMJ as a clinical advisor. I have the expertise of a clinical doctor, and so I consult for them when they have queries and questions about papers or about opinion pieces that they don't have the clinical context for, but I do. And so that would make me a consultant. And so you can do that in the pharmaceutical industry, you can do that in non-clinical industry. You just need to find the problem, and I talk about this in the problem thesis, which is available on School. If you want to join my School community, now's the chance. Also, if you're not really sure of which one fits you, I have created a very short quiz that you can take, and it will point you in the right direction for which one is probably best for you to start with. The link will be in the bio for that if that is something you are interested in. And then you have the strategic investor. Now this is for people who are not only interested in startups or interested in tech or interested in venture capital or interested in angel investing, but people who actually understand how the commercial environment works in that way. If you've heard of SomX, the founder of SomX, Dr. James, you might be aware of him. That is what he did, okay? And so he's a health tech investor and founder, and he has used his medical knowledge to be able to know where to deploy capital and what would work in the health sector. Now, the health sector is a very unique sector, and I think this is where doctors are very valuable, because in other tech sectors like fintech and AI and so on and so forth, it is a completely different terrain. The way healthcare is delivered, people who come up with concepts and ideas have a massive disconnect to what actually happens on ground. It's kind of like how managers don't really know what's happening in the hospital, but they're like, oh, you need to discharge this patient, but they don't understand that it's just you on the ward, and you've got to do a ward round, and you've also got to do bloods, and you've got to take gent levels, and you've got to do discharge summaries, and all these competing things. And they don't really get how it works. That's where you as a clinical person can either come in as an investor or come in as a consultant to help these health tech companies to understand that. Now, if you've noticed, some of these pathways are sort of merged, because if you are an educationalist and a creator, they kind of overlap. And if you are a strategic investor and you're a consultant, they can overlap too. So I think you can see where I'm going with this. You do want to pick one that you know is your strength, but you probably have to overlap it with some of the skills from the other archetypes that I have mentioned. Now, what I want to emphasize is you don't necessarily have to be who Ali Abdaal is. You don't have to be Dr. James. All you need to do is be you. You need to be clear on what it is that you want to do and what it is that you can do. What are the skills and the strengths that you have? Now, if you're unsure or if you're ready to take the next step, it's completely up to you. You can take a free assessment, which might be a game changer for you. It's in the description. You can take the assessment and see what the results bring out. Are you a creator? Are you an educator? Do you lean more towards consulting or strategic investments? So those are the four main pathways that I think doctors can easily segue into non-clinical alternative income. Tell me what you think. Tell me which one you think you fit in. Do you fit into all four? If you want more examples, I can give them to you. Or if you want to actually start with one of them, I have a free mini course in my School community which you can actually join. If you haven't seen the 6-part mini series on how you can actually start on your own, then watch the video, which I'll put the link up for here. Remember to subscribe and share this with someone who you think might benefit from it. And in the meantime, I want you to know that it's absolutely possible for you to be earning 5 to 6 figures without leaving medicine. And I know that because I've done the exact same thing. So I'll see you on the next video.